The radical act of self love, transforming pain into power. The first time I heard Tamra Andres speak about self love as a radical act, something shifted in me. Not the gentle kind of shift that comes with the new perspective, but the earth shattering kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about strength. For those who don't know Tamra, she's not just another motivational speaker. She's a force of nature who has dedicated her life to helping people, especially Black women, reclaim their power through radical self love. Her work has touched thousands of lives, creating ripples of healing that extend far beyond her immediate circle. What makes Tamara extraordinary isn't just her wisdom, but her willingness to walk her talk, to be vulnerable in public spaces, to show us what healing looks like in real time. For Black women, especially, we've been taught that strength means endurance, that power means pushing through, that success means sacrifice. But what if we've been measuring strength all wrong? Today, I want to share the profound wisdom I gathered from my conversation with Tamra, whose insights aren't just inspirational platitudes. They're revolutionary acts of resistance against systems that were never designed for our wholeness. Let's be honest, we live in a world that profits from our self doubt, a world that has commodified self care into expensive spa days and luxury retreats while ignoring the deeper work of true self love. A world where Black women in particular are expected to be strong for everyone else while neglecting their own needs. But Tamara's message cuts through all that noise with a simple truth: self love isn't selfish, it's survival. And not just survival, it's the foundation of our power. When I asked Tamra what self love means for Black professionals and entrepreneurs, she didn't talk about bubble baths or meditation apps. She talked about boundaries, about saying no without guilt, and about honoring your worth in spaces that weren't built with you in mind. Self love, she said, is choosing yourself repeatedly, even when, especially when the world tells you that you should be choosing everyone else. That hit me like a thunderbolt because how many of us have dimmed our light to make others comfortable? How many of us have swallowed our words to keep the peace? How many of us have abandoned ourselves at the altar of other people's expectations? Too many, far too many. But here's where it gets interesting. Tamra shared three powerful stories with me that illuminate what happens when we dare to put ourselves first, when we dare to heal, when we dare to tell our stories. Let me tell you about Alana. Alana carried deep pain from her past, the kind of pain that follows you into boardrooms and business meetings, the kind that whispers, "You don't belong here," even as you're breaking glass ceilings. For years, she did what many of us do: she hid behind her accomplishments. Her resume became her armor. Her professional accolades became the mask she wore to convince the world and herself that she was okay. But inside, she was crumbling. Until one day she made a choice. She said yes to her healing journey, not the superficial kind that looks good on Instagram, but the messy, uncomfortable, transformative kind that requires you to face your demons. She leaned into her faith. She found communities that held space for her vulnerability. And most radically, she began sharing her story through the Messenger Movement podcast. Here's the magic. When Alana chose to heal publicly, something extraordinary happened. Her willingness to be seen in her wholeness, not just her success, but her struggles, created a ripple effect. Suddenly, other Black women professionals who have been suffering in silence found permission to prioritize their mental health. to honor their spiritual growth, to step into their power not despite their wounds, but because they were finally tending to them. One woman's courage to heal became a beacon for countless others. And isn't that something? That our healing isn't just personal, it's political, it's revolutionary, it's contagious. But healing isn't a destination, it's a journey, a practice, a daily choice. Tamra emphasized this again and again in our conversation. Healing, she said, requires acknowledging pain, whether personal or systemic, and actively seeking out tools, communities, and spiritual practices that foster true transformation. This brings me to another powerful story. TEDx Nokesville Women. This event was born from a simple observation. Too many women, especially Black women, have heard no repeatedly throughout their lives and careers. No, you can't. No, you shouldn't. No, you don't belong. These rejections aren't just personal disappointments, they're manifestations of systemic barriers that undermine confidence and crush dreams before they have a chance to take flight. But the organizers of TEDx Nokesville Women had a brilliant idea. What if they created a space where no could be transformed into now, where rejection could become a catalyst for action rather than a reason to retreat? They cultivated an environment where women could share stories of resilience, where they could connect authentically with one another, where vulnerable conversations about race, gender bias, and entrepreneurship could happen without judgment. The results were transformative. Attendees reported feeling a renewed sense of courage. New collaboration formed between business leaders who had previously felt isolated. A community emerged where once there had been competition, all because someone dared to create a space where healing could happen collectively. This is what Tamra means when she says your story matters. When you share your authentic experiences of struggle and triumph, you create permission for others to do the same. You turn private pain into public power. But, and this is crucial, telling your story requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires safety, and safety requires boundaries. Which brings me to Tamra's own journey through physical challenges. Recently, Tamra experienced a significant setback when a medical intervention, a spinal stimulator, didn't work out as hoped during her recovery. For someone in the public eye, navigating chronic health issues demands immense emotional strength. There's pressure to maintain the image of having it all together, even when your body is falling apart. But Tamra made a radical choice. Instead of hiding behind a facade of perfectionism, she chose transparency. She shared her disappointment. She expressed gratitude for community support even amidst setbacks. She showed up imperfectly yet powerfully each day online, even when progress felt slow or uncertain. And as something beautiful happened, her followers who faced similar struggles felt seen. The conversation around chronic illness within entrepreneurial circles shifted from shame to compassion. Her vulnerability became a bridge that others could cross. This is the power of choosing authenticity over appearance, of prioritizing healing over hustling, of practicing self love, even, especially when it's hardest. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds nice, but I don't have time for self love. I have deadlines to meet, children to raise, communities to serve. I hear you. I do, but what if self love isn't something you add to your to do list? What if it's the foundation that makes everything else possible? What if by choosing yourself, you become more, not less, available to the people and causes that matter to you? What if your healing is the most important contribution you can make to a world in desperate need of wholeness. These aren't just rhetorical questions, they're invitations to reimagine what strength looks like, to redefine success on your own terms, to reclaim your right to rest, to joy, to peace. As Tamra so powerfully articulated, you are worthy right now, not just after you've achieved more or healed completely, but at every stage along your journey. Let that sink in for a moment. You are worthy right now, not when you've lost the weight or gotten the promotion, or fixed the relationship right now. In this body, with these scars, with this story, you are worthy of love, especially your own. And that's not just a feel good affirmation, it's a revolutionary stance in a world that profits from your self doubt. So, where do we go from here? How do we translate these insights into action? I want to leave you with a challenge that goes beyond the surface level self care we've been sold. I challenge you to commit to one radical act of self love this week, not tomorrow, not when things slow down. No. Maybe it's finally setting that boundary you've been afraid to establish. Maybe it's seeking therapy after years of telling yourself you should be able to handle everything alone. Maybe it's simply giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. Whatever it is, do it with the knowledge that your self love is not selfish. It's sacred. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's not just for you, it's for everyone who will benefit from your wholeness. Because here's the truth that Tamra and so many brave women like her have shown us. When we heal ourselves, we heal generations. When we love ourselves fiercely, we create a new template for what's possible. When we choose ourselves repeatedly, we change not just our own lives, but the very fabric of our communities. This is the revolution that begins within. This is the power that transforms pain into purpose. This is the radical act of self love that can and will change everything. The question is not whether you're worthy of this love, you are. The question is, are you brave enough to give it to yourself? The world is waiting for your answer, not because it needs more from you, but because it needs the real you, the whole you, the healed you, the you that emerges when you finally, radically, unapologetically choose yourself. Thank you